Good afternoon again, everybody, and thank you for joining us in the latter part of the afternoon here for this session on navigating shared housing and strategies for successful co-living. Again, I'm Jean-Michel Giraud, the President and CEO of Friendship Place in Washington, D.C., right here. And Friendship Place is a homeless services organization serving the D.C. metropolitan area and with a national reach through best practices. And I want to thank the staff and board member who are here with us today. I also want to thank Malik Reapers for organizing this workshop and all the work that went into it. Thank you, Malik, very much. Thank you, Cindy, our volunteer, who's going to keep us on track. And then, of course, Annika, Melissa, and Jay, our panelists. And I have to say, it's been a wonderful experience preparing for this workshop. One of the best ever for me. So thank you, everybody, for being so kind and for coming up with such a great session. We have 75 minutes exactly to do this afternoon. We have decided to give each of our panelists her own 15 minutes. So to get creative within these 15 minutes and to present the information they have the best way they can. So we're excited about this model because there's a lot of freedom of creativity in it. I will be moderating the session, so I'll get back to the floor once I'm done introducing and move things along as we need to. We will have, after the presentation, the opportunity for you to ask questions because we really want to have a conversation with you, and then we will wrap up on time and now at 5 o'clock instead of 4:45. Shared living is a very important development in homeless services, obviously, because it makes housing much more affordable, flexible, with the shorter leases sometimes, with the fact that folks are running their own households depending on the model, and you'll see that models are different with the three organizations represented today. I like to think of it also as a model that has economic perks because it is, again, more affordable, cheaper, but also emotional perks because there is the commonality in the background in homelessness, of course, with people. And as organizations in some models like ours withdraw from the households and the households self-runs, I think that you can get to a position of a family of choice where there's a real bond between people beyond the organization. And this bond, of course, as we say in rehabilitation, becomes a natural resource, a resource the field doesn't pay for, and a very deeply meaningful one, because these friendships, these bonds again, are going to carry people into wellness, into the future. It's helped us at Friendship Place maximize our placements in a very rapid way. If I have the opportunity, I'll tell you a little bit about that later. And then organizations, some of you may have gotten the question, are not opening group homes all over the cities and our counties. They are helping people start their own households. It's a very different thing in that you don't have to justify the presence of this household in the community, right? So just some pointers on this. You will see that each of our presenters has very innovative, very interesting things to share with us. And all the practices are person-centric and definitely put people first, which is really exciting also. You will see that these organizations also reach out to different populations, which is really nice, and that people on the panel themselves have different roles with these organizations, which I think is really, really important. So, to introduce the panel, we are not going to read you our bios because you know where to find them, and they would be too long. But in the order they will present, I'm going to start by introducing Annika Fraga. Annika is a community housing specialist for Associates Ministry in Pierce County, Washington, the state of Washington. And obviously, as the name indicates, Associate Ministry engages an interfaith community in Pierce County. Melissa Peterman is the Executive Director of Townspeople in San Diego, and she is here to talk about an initiative Townspeople has developed, and it is the San Diego Shared Housing Collaborative. So looking forward to hearing about that. And something I really liked, I read on their website, is that they are a friend and a lifeline for people with HIV. Friend and lifeline, wonderful. And for people with HIV and other vulnerabilities. And then Jane Lang is our direct service specialist for Marsha and Marion's neighbors in Richmond, Virginia, and they focus on housing for people 18 to 24 who are members of the LGBTQ community, pregnant and or parenting. So this is our panel. Now we'd like to see who is in the room, so I'm going to just throw some questions at you. Who is in a direct service role? Oh, great. Who is an administrator or a funder? All right, excellent, right. Who is familiar with the shared housing model? So a good number of people, good. Who is using it currently? All right, well, excellent, okay, great. I think we know enough about our folks. Let's get started. So Annika, over to you.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Woo. End of the day, doing great? Feeling motivated? Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. My name is Annika, and my official title. Oh, yeah, thank you. There it is. On there, it says that I am a home share outreach specialist. And what that means is that I facilitate the adult home share program at my agency, which I'll tell you more about. So I do direct service for that, and then also I work as the community outreach specialist for the agency as well. So kind of a double agent thing kind of going on here, but I love it and I can't wait to tell you more. I also want to start by thanking Malik and the Alliance for inviting me here. This is my first conference. Yeah, it's my first one. And it has been so cool. I've had great conversations and learned a lot. So feeling motivated for sure. And one of the things that I've been very impressed by is how innovative and creative some of the work that y'all are doing is. And what I'm going to be talking about today is also creative. I mean, shared housing, right? It's a fairly new program for my agency, and so I can't wait to share more. Hello? We'll just do that. Okay, so just a little bit about AM. So we are located in Pierce County, Washington. So that's Washington State, and I put a little map up there so that you have perspective. And our motto is working together so that all are healed, housed, and whole. So we have, as you can see there, a variety of different programs centered around housing folks and working to prevent and relieve homelessness in our county. Okay, so a little bit of background before I get into shared housing about why it's hard to find housing in Pierce County. So we are looking at very similar problems that we're seeing across the nation, right? Our county is dealing with a very high need with limited shelter beds, long waiting lists for permanent housing placement, limited case management, and shortage of rental assistance. But even a bigger part of it, the bigger monster that we're trying to fight, is the lack of attainable and affordable housing. So we have roughly 6,500 folks that are connected to our homelessness crisis and response system. Homelessness has been up in our county 23% from 2022 to 2023. Tacoma's living expenses, the city that we're working in, the living expenses are 37% higher than the national average. 37%. The median home price is over $600,000, and the median rent is over $1,800 a month with utilities not included. So shared housing is resurfacing as an option to combat that. Most folks who are living paycheck to paycheck are coming to this program because they can no longer afford the housing that they're in, and they're facing eviction or they're losing their support system. It's very simple. Shared housing is just sharing resources, which is something that we've done in the past, but it's becoming a more creative, innovative solution because our culture is typically not to share resources, right? Our housing isn't typically multi-generational like other countries, and folks are really looking to be self-sustainable and live on their own. But what we're seeing, at least in my neck of the woods, is that folks are looking for roommates, staying with families and parents into adulthood. Most people my age are, and so this program aligns right along with that. These programs. The first one I want to talk about is our Youth Host Home program. So this one should really be called more of a young adult program. And my colleague facilitates this. This is a program that pairs a young person experiencing homelessness with a caring household wanting to make a difference. As I might have mentioned, it's 18 to 24-year-olds. And with this, Associated Ministries is pretty hands-on. We do case conferencing with local organizations and case workers, and the young adults are coming to us through coordinated entry. And this is a one-year program. So really what we're trying to do is have the young adult graduate out of this program as a self-sufficient adult. And we have a case worker that works along with them throughout this 1 year and support them. So for example, we find them housing, and maybe they're also involved in education or finding a job, or maybe they have substance abuse issues. We have a case manager in place to make sure that they are accomplishing the goals that they want to outside of housing. And if they have substance abuse issues, they can get treatment and help with that. Our agency provides it, and we also pay the rent of $750 a month for that youth to stay in a home for 1 year. To be a host home provider, you have to be an adult, 25 and up, and you have to have a spare bedroom. You don't have to be a homeowner, but you can be a renter if you have landlord approval. But we're really looking for people who offer a healthy living space, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And they're expected to provide light mentorship. When I tell people about this program, they typically say, oh, it's like foster care for young adults. And I say, no, not quite, because you are not expected to be on them with homework and driving them places and cooking them meals. We're housing young adults and giving them a leg up by paying for their rent and looking for people who will offer light mentorship. And the benefit of being a home provider in this program is that you're making $750 a month that is guaranteed to be paid by our agency for 1 year. It's pretty cool. So here is our model. So first step, as I mentioned, home seeker, coordinated entry, case conferencing, they get a referral to this program, accepted into the program, and then housing preferences are talked about with our case manager and our housing specialist. What do you want in a housing situation? Not just what do you need, but let's find the best match for you and your unique human, who you are, and your unique housing situation and the person you are. We really listen, meet people where they're at, and say, how can we get you the best match possible? To be a host home provider, you complete an application on our website. We background check each person, we do a home visit, and we do an interview to make sure it's going to be a safe space for a young adult. And then we have a quick training that we do with the community housing specialist. They're accepted into the program, and then there's a match meet where the two of them get to talk about a co-living situation. And then if all goes well, we hope to see a move-in, and we hope that the young adult graduates out of that after 12 months. And the success rate is pretty high. We've only had one young adult not complete it. So, okay, and so now I'm going to talk about adult home share. And this is the program that I facilitate. It's similar to Youth Host Home, where there's two parties. There is the home provider and the home seeker. Only with this one, the home seeker is going to be paying the rent. We do not pay the rent, and we also don't have case management, because these are adults that are just looking for lower income housing. Another difference is that this program is not just 1 year. which is very cool. So yes, home seekers, to be a home seeker, you apply on our website. You must have a valid Washington ID. You must have income and pass a background check. And then it's the same on the home provider side, except with this program, they ask a certain amount of rent. Some people ask for $400, other folks ask for around $800. That's typically the range that's most successful for finding a match. And this program's really more like Golden Girls. Like, that's what I say. Like, Blanche put out an ad, and Sophia and Dorothy and Rose found a place, and they all got to age in place in a home, and Sophia didn't have to go to Shady Pines. This is our model. It's very similar, except that home seekers and home providers both apply. So there's no case conferencing or anything, but the matching process is exactly the same, the move-in, and then we measure success just on, people can stay as long as they like. It doesn't have to just be 1 year. Here are the challenges, but actually I'm running short on time, so I'm gonna go right into our activity before I wrap up here. So now I wanna talk to you guys. One of the biggest barriers with this program is getting our society acclimated to sharing a space and becoming roommates with somebody.
Speak on it.
Right? So I have this quote here from Pascal Boyer, who is an American anthropologist, that says, "Social exchange is certainly among the oldest of human behaviors, and as humans we've depended on sharing and exchanging resources for a long time." So my question to all of you is, during a time when people across the US are becoming more comfortable with less social interaction, how can we popularize the benefits of sharing resources such as housing? Take a couple minutes to chat with the people around you, and then I'm going to call on some folks who want to share about what you learned. Go for it.
I didn't start until she got there, and she wanted me to give her 7 minutes, so I gave her 3. And so she was at 7 minutes. She really has at least 4 minutes left. I gave it to her, and she asked me. Yeah, she was nervous. And she said, "You were very I think she should pull her group up to the practice.
Where are you based?
Oh, I'm in How much time do I have? So you're going to have 3 minutes and a minute. Like, okay. You're at 3:40. Okay. I'm trying to give you a bonus minute.
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and wrap up those conversations. And would anybody like to share what they learn or what their thoughts on this is? Everybody ready? I know. This is just not long enough. Pick a lucky person up. But if you have more things to say, I'd love to talk to you after. Yes. What did you learn?
I learned that we all really want to hear your challenges. That's number 1. Consensus. Number 2, we think that after the loneliness that a lot of people felt during COVID, that might not be so hard to bring people together around shared housing.
Definitely, yeah. So a lot of the older population that I'm dealing with that want to age in place, a big factor is that they feel alone and they just want somebody there at night to make sure they're safe and someone to share meals with, which I think is lovely. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Yes.
There are, having these homes in communities where they're closer to basic needs, grocery stores, community, that kind of thing, because like if you're advertising these homes but they're more like in the suburbs and these are older adults who are maybe aging out and they need, a place to age gracefully, like not having access to the independence of going to stores or anything, that can be pretty draining. So if we can make it more appealing by advertising like this is a built-in community, not just in your home, but in your area where you can get all of your needs met. That is pretty attractive.
100%. A lot of the places that have the most success with me getting someone into their spare bedroom are going to be places close to bus routes, stores, schools, things like that. So yeah, definitely. Do we have time for one more?
One more.
There's just one more back there. Okay, thank you.
Program, and it's like, would you rather have 350 roommates or one roommate? Because a lot of these folks are used to being in a congregate setting, so I think it's an easier selling point that you're gonna have one rather than 350.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna use that. That's great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna wrap up now. Yeah, that's my name, our website. Please follow us on social media, and if you want to email me, I'll tell you the barriers. We can keep talking. So, thank you for listening, everybody.
Yay.